Like the flow state is kind of like you ever be in a conversation with somebody and before you know it, time just passes by.
That's operating in flow state.
Why do you think people ask for feedback at work but not in relationships? Great question. Great question. Because they're not programmed to do so. Like, let's call it what it is. Like everything, most of us, everything we do is on a program of something that we've seen before. We do a lot of things without thinking, and that's why it takes so hard for us to incorporate new shit, because we've been doing other things for so long. It's a program. Like there's no anxiety. Like when you do the same thing every day, it keeps down like the anxiety of trying something new. So as for why we don't do it in relationships, I mean the healthy relationships do. Let's be clear. Like those that have been to therapy and understand the concept of feedback and communication and trying to better yourself, you actually do feedback, if you will, and you understand that there's no room for ego or entitlement or expectations. And I would say like in a healthy relationship, what I'm saying, you pretty much create as you go along each day. You understand that each day is a separate life with that individual, and you try to stay in the flow state. Like the flow state is kind of like you ever be in a conversation with somebody and before you know it, time just passes by. That's operating in the flow state. Or like how, the young boys, and not to say girls don't do this because they're all girl gamers, but you know how young boys will be on fucking Call of Duty or Fortnite for hours on end and don't even recognize like it's fucking 4 a.m. Or girls watching, I don't know, Real Housewives of Compton, Real Housewives of San Diego, I don't know, whatever the fuck your housewife, love, hip hop, reality TV show, reading Cosmo, whatever it is, like, or being on the phone with your girlfriends, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So that's the flow state where you just don't realize everything just, you're living in the present moment is what that is. So the best thing that we can do is have a short-term memory when it comes to heartbreak, trauma, if you will, man. Like, but it's easier said than done. Speaking from experience, easier said than done. But yes, feedback on a relationship, like maybe every 6 months for married motherfuckers, or every quarter, however you decide to do it. But I think that would be dope if we did do that a lot more. If we can understand exactly where things are in your committed relationships, even your friendships too. But I ain't about to sit down with my dog and be like, hey man, so how you been feeling about this friendship so long? You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to, see it like, it might be healthy, but I just don't see it happening. You know what I mean? It's kind of just something we figure out amongst each other. We've always been that way since when you're young, having friends and shit like that. But it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. I just don't see the shit happening. You know what I mean? But healthy standpoint. Feedback, yes, getting feedback from your mate and learning exactly what it is that they have issues with. The only issue is that fucking ego. Like some women will want a man to be honest, and the man will be honest, and that ego is not ready for that honesty. That type of tea, sweet tea, honest tea, you are not ready to hear what the fuck we have to say about your ass. And it's like, that ego kicks in, and then you want someone to be responsible for your emotions. Unhealthy. A lot of it's a common thing. You ask a lot of married men, you ask a lot of men in relationships. Heterosexual, that is, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm speaking for, obviously. But heterosexual, you know what I'm saying, like relationships, and it's from years of experience of being involved with certain women and their personalities. I stand by the fact that a woman has the biggest ego. And don't get me wrong, men have egos, but ain't nobody got the ego like a woman. I'll tell you that right damn now. And it is because it's for a lot of reasons. But you've been told you've been beautiful and shit since you were a little girl. You've been put on a pedestal for a very, very long time. So for somebody to tell you that you have an error, me, you know what I mean? But in all honesty, you gotta remove that shit if you really trying to better, like, because the relationship is not about you. The relationship is about love. You know what I'm saying? You have to surrender to love. Don't surrender to your lover. You surrender to love. And it's a very, very big difference because of the ego. Ego makes it about us. But if we're choosing to love, because we are love. You are love. I am love. We decided to be in a relationship, granted, lovers, but we're surrendering to that of love. So in order for us to get better at the love, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be me and you versus the issue, not me versus you. We have to talk to each other, not at each other. And feedback, right? So you got to be willing to remove the ego. And I know I gave women some shit about ego earlier, but yes, men too. We got to remove the fucking ego. If we're going to get better, honestly, like for real, if we're going to get better in a relationship, we have to improve ourselves by removing the fucking ego so we can figure out exactly what the issue is. Now, men, at the same time, make sure that you hold your frame. Yes, make sure that you are holding your masculine frame throughout this entire period. It is a struggle. It is not easy. It is not for the weak. It is a mental game that you have. It's the best game you're ever going to play in your life, being involved with a woman, a heterosexual woman. You have to hold your motherfucking frame. Because if you don't, that's your ass. I'm letting you know that right now. So, but feedback, it's a great way to see where things are going. It's a great way to see how she feels. It's a great way to assess things about yourself, assess things about her, and just remove, like I said, remove the ego, remove the entitlement, and understand what's going on. Yes, there's love languages. My thoughts on love languages. I think I feel like love languages is a little bit of a fixed mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like to say, well, I only feel love this way, right? And it very well may be true. However, outside of the gift giving, all that other shit can be accomplished by effort. That's just my mentality on the whole thing. And it's a great read. Like I say, Gary Chapman, he's got a lot of books revolving around that. He's got ones designed just for men, which is I believe is a really good read, and other things. You know what I'm saying? So, but from the just from the love languages stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just the feedback, and then you can just talk about it. You know what I mean? You gotta talk. You gotta communicate. But men, we have to talk. We have to communicate our emotions in a masculine way. Takes a while to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like like a lot of folk feel like, men talking about their feelings and makes them weak and shit like that. Depends on who you ask. So perspective, you know what I'm saying? You can look at weak and strong in different ways, you know what I'm saying? Like, however you see it. Some women believe that it's weak to submit to your man. It can take a lot of strength to submit to somebody and trust them to lead, even if they fuck up. So, it's perspective. Everything's about perspective, right? But in all seriousness, yeah, I definitely encourage feedback. into relationships, especially parent to child. I repeat, parent to child. Like, let's get rid of this whole thing. You a child, you don't know nothing. How about we start listening to our babies so they don't grow up fucking the world up, shooting up schools, fucking up other people's relationships. And like, we need to pay attention to our children. We need feedback sessions. That's, if anything, a relationship, the most important relationship that you're ever going to have from experience is parent to child relationship. Some of us didn't know. Some of us did not know. Parents and children, as far as like the connection and all that shit. When you raised with that slave mentality, like you're the child, I'm the parent, you don't say anything type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what that does is create that wall. And then once you create that wall, you're not entitled to getting information behind that wall just because that's your child. That child, you as a parent used to be that very same child, and you're doing the same shit that you saw your mama and daddy do. And look at you now, nigga. Look at you now. Like, you break the fucking cycle. Break the fucking cycle. Say it 3 times. Break the fucking cycle. All right? Your children and your children's children will thank you so much for doing that. It said, feedback. Parent and child need feedback sessions. And you gotta be able to allow that child to speak freely. None of that, I'm the mother, I'm the daddy bullshit. All right? And children, you need to listen to your fucking parents when they're talking to you. They've been around longer, all right? The ones that really do care are going to give you vital information that can help you save a lot of time and years on your life. Real shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Feedback. Feedback is fucking awesome. I think it's fucking amazing to have such. But you got to make sure that you're ready to receive it. So, why we don't have feedback in our relationships like we do at work? Programming. Simple programming. And you know what you got to do? Reprogram. That's it. Change the game and improve. Imagine you're in the 90s. What memories would you like to have? Well, being 36, I can tell you about the 90s with this photographic memory I have. First off, fashion, right? Crisscross, clothes on backwards. What else? Cross colors, starter jackets, first down bubble coats. What's up? What's up? Yeah, some people, I wasn't really one of the ones. I wasn't able to afford them, you know what I'm saying, the Jordans and all that stuff. But yes, Jordans everywhere, windbreaker suits, TV shows, like, people, and animated TV shows. And what I mean by animated, Then I Knew That, Family Matters, Urkel shit. Martin, nobody's more animated than Martin and Jim Carrey in the 90s, like real shit. Like, I don't care what either of those two were in, it was animated as hell. Ace Ventura, like the reverse thing, more like that shit. Martin, of course, you know what I'm saying, the best, by far the best TV show for me ever. The Office comes very strong second, but it's a little bit further down the line. We in the 90s right now. Dunkaroos. Let's talk about snacks, motherfucking 90s snacks. Dunkaroos, right? What else, man? The Mentos commercials. A little bit of Big Red. Big Red used to be there too. Living Single. New York Undercover. What's up, man? It was a good time. It was a good time being a kid. I remember coming in from outside, playing. Come in the house and, dinner be on, dinner be made, and Martin would be on, Moesha, somewhat of the park. Yeah, nah, the Parkers was more like 2000. But like Alicia would be on. You had Smart Guy, Sister, T and Tamara, still some bad ones to this day. We had like I said, growing up for me, and then like life in the night, like memories, being outside playing, being chased by 3 dogs on my bike, screaming for my mama one night, traumatizing as fuck. Like I did not fuck with dogs for a long time. I came home from playing outside. It was like maybe 8 o'clock, and I think it was Rob. Yeah, Robert. Or the guy named Rob or whatever. The kid named Robert. He was like a little bit older than me, but riding home on Red Rover, my 21 speed bike, and it was red. And sure enough, I rode past the garage, and them fuckers came hauling ass at me. So I was darting down the road, and I was screaming for my mom. Like crazy, you know. It was the typical shit you see, like how little Chris was on Friday, you know, with the bike and shit when Craig and Smokey was chasing after him, you know, screaming like that. What other memories? High school? Not high school, but middle school dances. Yes. Middle school dances, being very, very shy to dance. But once you start, it's like you're shy to start, but once you get there, you're doing the butterfly or whatever, what's the shit? The Tootsie Roll, them dances. Macarena, Spice Girls. Yeah, Spice Girls. To Become One. To this day, by far one of my favorite records. One of my favorite records of all time from pop area. From the pop era, excuse me. No cell phones. No cell phones. Like, we didn't have cell phones in the 90s. What memories? Like, it was, like I said, it was fun, man. Like, you actually had to talk on the phone to your girlfriend, and you talked about nothing, literally on the phone. Like, you sleep? No. What y'all watching? What your brother talking about? Hey, little sister crazy. You know, shit like that. Like, literally, that would be the extent of of conversation in the 90s. Because that's about middle school for me. And middle school was like the end of the 90s. Before that, it's Power Rangers, denying that you watched Power Rangers, denying that you was watching Barney with your brother. Like saying, oh yeah, he was watching it out. Nigga, I knew all of these characters, these songs, all that stuff, you know. And what else, man? 90s, hip hop beefs, acting like you knew what the fuck was going on and you didn't. And like Tupac, Big, that shit, being, listening to all that. Bad Boy, like the whole Bad Boy movement, coming to school, hearing all about the Benjamins. Coming to school, hearing, Juicy was more, I think elementary school. It's like 4th, 5th grade, right? But No Limit, Bad Boy, like to be able to live through the Bad Boy movement, No Limit, a little bit of Rough Riders. That's more like 2000s, but like DMX hit about 98. And DMX to me was the best fucking rapper I've ever seen. The energy he had was just phenomenal, and I loved it. What else was in the 90s and I did not touch on? What am I missing? Nickelodeon Guts, My Brother and Me. What else, man? Keenan and Kel, all that. What is it? Dora, MTV shit. Daria, that's her fucking name. Beavis and Butthead, MTV Spring Break, all the performances, trying to capture. I remember trying to record music videos all the time, That was my mixtape, and then talk about the 90s, recording songs off the radio. Like waiting, and the thing used to piss me off a lot of times, like when 103 Jams would do their top 8 at 8, these motherfuckers cut the song off. You know what I mean? Like you nigga, we trying to record shit, like to have for our for our tapes and all that stuff. But what 103 Jams, Z104. This is all 757 stuff right here. But yeah, 103 Jams. Always listening to them on the way to school. Z104, 105.3, 95.7. No, 95.7 was not out yet. But yeah, those are all the the records and things like radio stations that we used to listen to and like in the 90s. And like I said, being outside, having to cut grass. Did not want to cut the grass, and I was excited when we finally got like a riding lawnmower. Waiting for my mom to get home during the summertime so that I can go outside and play because I had to watch my brother. 90s, it was chill. It was chill, and people, like, you actually felt movies. You know what I'm saying? Nutty Professor, any Eddie movie, any Eddie Murphy movie that came out, I was on it. You know what I'm saying? He influenced me so much with comedy growing up. I think that's what kept my anxiety down, or whatever, or depression, whatever I recognize now that I did, back then. Martin and Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey, anything comedy. Like every movie was always comedy. Every movie was always comedy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that helped a lot. You know what I'm saying? Get through, because we were just always trying to find something funny to watch. Playing two square outside. You know what I'm saying? It's like tennis with a basketball, but you use the line. I don't know. Little ghetto games. Ice cream trucks. The pool, going to the pool, trying to see what girl done grew her titties over the summer. Grew ass, all that stuff. We try to be grown. What else, man? In the 90s, playing basketball. Playing football, two-hand touching the street. The 90s was a good time. It was a real good time. We weren't trying to be on fucking Facebook Live while we was playing basketball. We stayed in the moment. We lived in the moment, and we used to walk to the Food Lion. We did a lot. We did a lot, right? It was a lot of memories, and I don't know. I think about like today. And a lot of the kids today are so not even just the kids. So I'm not going to put it all on the kids, but the people today, based off of our conditioning and programming, tend to not live in the moment. Like you want to record shit. You don't live in the flow state, like in the present moment. And we got to get back to it. We got to simplify our life. We are overly stimulated. And in so many ways, we have too much stimulation going on, too many options. From movies, music, even with being online and like dating and shit. It's just, we're overly fucking stimulated that our brains are not able to, I don't believe our brains are able to take in all the information that's being input in them. And we're getting fried and shit. And sometimes you just need to back the fuck away, right? And just unplug. And that's what anytime you get overheated, that's what you do. You unplug it and it'll reset. So you gotta allow your mind to reset. But the 90s, I'm grateful I got to experience it. It was a good time. I can't forget God's Property. Growing up in Grove Baptist Church, listening to Kurt Franklin, BB and CC Winans. The Winans, like I said, growing up black. Good times, man. And enjoying it, like listening to my cousin play Mariah Carey, Dream Lover on repeat like crazy. Tiff, know damn well you played that shit out. Sleepovers, staying up late, watching soft porn shit. It's not supposed to be watching shit like Red Shoe Diaries, Beverly Hills Bordello. These things, this is the 90s right here. The Box, watching music videos on the Box in the morning before school. What can I say? Like, we grew up, we had a lot of great memories in the 90s, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. It was dope. You had to be there. That's all I can say about the 90s. You had to be there. What do you love to do? What do you love to do for or give to others? Honestly, perspective. That would probably be what I love to give to others. Because it changes everything. Like the way we feel about shit is based off of perspective, our perspective right then in that moment. And the perspective that we may have might be from something that happened, a traumatic event that happened a long time ago. And then it's like triggering, so we respond in that very same, that very same anger and fear right there in that moment. Or we might not respond at all. Like, we might freeze or whatever. But no, I like to give perspective because it helped me a lot. I like perspective. I like to give perspective because, that's what my therapist, that's what they gave to me. They give me perspectives and allow me to see things very differently than I was seeing it. That kept me in a very traumatic state of mind, and where I felt defeated by everything, and I just did not want to. I surrendered. I gave up on life itself in so many ways. But I love to give that perspective. I love to give perspective to others, and do for as for that, heal. Allow others to heal. Now, granted, I don't got all the shit figured out. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing my damnness that I can. Whatever knowledge I find, I try to heal from it. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't, blame others for my life. That type of shit. That's where I am. I'm getting to the point where I'm just accountable for everything. And I understand that anything that happens, I am responsible for it. I am responsible for my emotions. I'm responsible for how I respond to you, whatever you do. You can do pretty much whatever you want, but it is incumbent on me to know how to respond to you. Learning how to respond versus react. Yes, that is, I think that's where I see myself right now. It's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. Doing your best to stay calm. Being calm is a superpower. Because there's a lot of people that want to try you. And they want to try you on the right fucking day sometimes. But, nevertheless, you practice the tools that you learn and the skills that you learn through stoicism and emotional intelligence that keeps you on the straight and narrow. But yeah, I love to give perspective to people so that they can see things differently. And as you see things differently, like being able, like the person that you're angry at, if you're able to look into like life the way that they perceive it. I'm not telling you to excuse their behavior. I'm asking you to look into their pain, because they feel so much in pain that they have to spill it on to you. And sometimes you just ain't about that fuck shit. And but a lot of times we are responding to something that happened to us before, and this is the way that we responded before. So responding to trauma, we're not even there with the individual that's doing the issue, right? We're there with the original person that did it, where we saw it the first time, and how we were programmed to respond to it. At least for me, that's what I'll say. I'll speak for me. I'll speak for me only. Like, there are a lot of times that I go through shit with individuals, and they'll come at me a certain way, and then I am already, the defense mechanism is up. And because of what I've been through, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, how am I going to respond? Am I going to respond the same way and fold, or am I going to respond in a different way and kind of stand up and defeat this challenge in which I'm being faced with? So, whatever information like I get, I do my best to kind of help others see perspectives and heal, man. Especially that of healing from what maybe a parent did, or you feel like a parent did to you, or something like that, so that you can, because our first relationship is with our parents, you know what I'm saying? So if you can heal from that, you can pretty much heal from everything else. It just aligns itself like that, right? And it's not to say that your parents, like, it's not always your parents that are the ones that causes the issue. Sometimes it can be going like, in high school, middle school, being like bullied, or, shit like that. And then you froze or you fled, whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? But to understand that that individual, what they did to you was in pain, so they projected that onto you. But teaching you to kind of learn to, you know, stand up for oneself. And it can be difficult. It damn sure can be difficult if you're programmed to just feeling that fear. You know what I'm saying? Like fear fucks with us all. Like danger is inevitable, but fear is a choice, right? So, and it sounds, you know, it's easier said than done, but just keeping that in mind changes like the way your brain can operate and respond to said fear. And it takes practice. So running away from our issues is only they only get bigger as we run away from them. But yeah, I like to give perspective, and perspective has been helpful for me and a lot of things. There are days where I want life to really go the fuck the way I intended it in my head, and it doesn't always do that. Like it's sometimes, you know, you get a curveball, you know what I'm saying? You have a plan and then you get punched in the mouth. And you know, when you are entitled, when you feel entitled, you know, you want to take your ball and go home. Like you don't want to deal with this shit no more. But you got to be able to accept life as it is. Amor fati. I think that's like Latin for, you know, pretty much just take life as it is. And that's what we have to do. Don't wish life were as you want it to be, but wish life is the way it's, you know, as it comes. And it's a struggle because, you know, that comes with a lot of stuff. It can come with losing a family member. It can come with losing a relationship. It can come with losing, you know, not getting the raise that you thought you felt like you should have had, or you know what I'm saying, like anything that you thought you were supposed to have, and it didn't happen, and then you get pissed off, that anger because you feel entitled to something. You're not entitled to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it takes working a little bit harder than what you got, or fighting for more than, you know, learning to fight. That's another thing too. When you fight for what you want in this life. And you know, I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, just give different damn perspective. Yeah, learning perspective was very helpful for me. So with that being said, I hope that everyone is able to use perspective for their own, you know, for their own self, so that they don't pop off and lose their shit and make bad decisions on them. You know, don't make an emotional decision. You know what I mean? Try to make the best decision that you can, and remain calm, yo. Like, and practice on that shit. Remain calm with motherfuckers. They want that response out of you. You know what I'm saying? They be egging you. Like, any response is a response. So if they can say something negative to you and they know that your ego is not, you know what I'm saying, ain't gonna go for it, they will say that shit, right? But if you recognize and see where that individual is coming from, and you know that they just trying to get a response out of you, then you ignore it. Anytime, you know, whenever somebody tries to give you a gift and you don't want it, they have to take it back. So if they come at you with that you know, anger, they come at you with being pissed off, whatever it is, you don't have to accept it. And all that anger and shit goes right back to them. So that's what happens when we get angry and shit, like we get pissed off or whatever. If somebody responds, imagine if you was pissed off in an empty room. Same shit. Literally the same shit. So trying to pop off and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people respond to pop off because of the trauma and shit that they done been through. But in all honesty, you don't have to listen. You don't have to care. You don't have to. That's the power. That's your power right there. You gotta monitor the fucks you give daily. And there's a lot of people that wanna test you. So switch that perspective and remain calm, yo. Keep that energy. Keep your energy, yo. Your energy is very, very valuable. So, that's really all I got on that piece. So, to heal, to help others heal, and give perspective.